What is up, everybody? Anthony here, and welcome back to another video here on Let's Talk Resident Evil. But today we're talking Dead Rising. Yes, Dead Rising is back from the dead, and we are here to talk about the trailer, all the press release stuff. I want to cover it. I haven't seen any of it yet as of this recording. I did not watch the stream live, but I did get the press release, downloaded all the stuff. So let's take a look at the trailer. I'm going to react to everything, and yeah, let's do it. I am a big fan of Dead Rising. I did buy the original back in August of 2006, and it is coming back on September 19th, appropriately on the 19th, because that's when the first day of the game actually starts, on September 19th. And we will be seeing this in apparently RE engine, graphics, and all that good stuff. So let's take a look at the trailer, and I will give my honest thoughts. Let's do it. All right, rated M for mature. 2006 original release. Captivated by the originality of the game. I mean, let's keep in mind, this was the only thing that had zombies when Resident Evil steered away from zombies. But yes, we did have the remaster in 2016 with 60 frames and stuff, but this is a whole reskin. I mean, look at this. Frank West. A redesign and a new voice actor. I'll talk about that in a second. But DR, not DDR. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. All right.
What? Did you just say zombies?
Take a look out there.
Wow, look at that.
Those ain't zombies. What would you call
Look how smooth that looks, man. Oh yeah, gotta get the scoop, gotta get the photos. Oh, all the moves. Hell yeah. Hey, look at that. Before and after. Thankfully, there is a classic. Look at look at the dog now. There is a classic Frank skin, which is cool. But man, look how slick that looks in the RE engine. All the weapons are back. It's still really gory. Now it can handle all these zombies on screen, no problem. Look at that. I mean, look, for someone's first time playing this, this will get people stoked. Get out of my store. Oh, the clown with the chainsaws. And the butcher. September 19th, digital version. Okay. All right. It is coming out physically as well, for some people that are wondering. They did just put up pre-orders as of this recording. I did see pre-orders on a few sites. So it's still coming out physically, I think, for around $45 they're asking for this, or $50. Which, in my opinion, isn't bad, considering, A, I love Dead Rising, and B, this is a more remastered than a remake, right? So they're keeping everything the same. Everything that you know about Dead Rising is here. Obviously, they did change the design of Frank, and they did change the voice actor. But considering Capcom has been doing that for the last few years, going non-union with their actors, such as all the actors in Resident Evil, the recent remakes, of course, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, and so on and so forth, a lot of them are non-union actors. That's why, for example, Allison Court didn't come back for Resident Evil 2, right? That was a big thing when that was announced. So here we are with the new voice actor of Frank. He didn't sound too bad from what I heard in this trailer. You know, I'm sure it sounds fine. I don't know who is doing the new voice. Maybe somebody down below can let me know. But this is awesome. I have, you know, such a love for the first two Dead Rising games. I'll be honest, I never fully played 3. I played the demo, and I've never played 4, which I heard was a shit show, to say the least. Now, the biggest thing here is, you know, this coming back after such a, you know, not even a really long period of time, but a decent time away. And I think mostly with a lot of this stuff is you have to, you know, this is a good way to do it. Bring back the first game, see if there's interest, and they can always make a Dead Rising 5. I think this is a good way to go about it. Now, they could do the same thing with Dead Rising 2 and 3, put it in the RE engine, crank up the graphics, the frame rate, make the models look better. But this does have me excited. Now, we do have some screenshots here that we are going to take a look at that were in the official press release for Dead Rising. So let's take a look at them. All right, so first up, we have this screenshot of the new and improved Frank West, or some people would say not improved, because a lot of people were coming at his design. But there is plenty of skins that you can apply for Frank in this game. and one of them is the classic skin. So if people don't like the look of new Frank, well, you have old Frank. So can't really complain too much about his design when that is an option they're giving us. But not too bad. This is him looking over the mall and all the zombies as he's flying in the helicopter. This next shot is the clown, completely remastered. We all hate clowns. They're very scary, and to be honest with you, this still looks great. I still think there's aspects of the original game that actually still look great. Obviously, yes, dated graphics, I know, but I still think that they did a really good job with some of those, designs in the original game. But of course, if you look at the outside environments compared to the new updated environments, there's no comparison because the draw distance is even further. They can have, so much more detail in the trees that, you look down on while you're flying into the mall. It looks a lot more rich and detailed. And I like this redesign. It's not even a redesign. It's just a reskin, really, of this clown boss here with the chainsaws that you got to fight on the ride or across from the ride where you got to go on the top floor of the mall there. This is the cop boss. I forget the name specifically, but even though it probably just flashed before me in the trailer. But as you know, this officer was a pain in the ass in the original. You got to fight her in that store. And yeah, let's just say she's still going to be a pain in the ass. So I'm happy to see that. This is really cool. I actually like little things like this where it's like the original and it's the remaster. They kind of made him look like Steve Harvey a little bit. That was something my girlfriend Callie was like, he kind of reminds me of Steve Harvey in the remaster look. And yeah, very much so. But I'm not mad at this. I think this is a cool, natural reskin for these updated RE Engine graphics. So very happy to see that. And Frank doing the spin here with the zombie. The moves that you can unlock are, if you haven't played Dead Rising, there is so much skills that you can learn just by doing extra things. This game is so rich in what you can actually unlock, things that you can actually make Frank do if you actually take the time, make the right shakes that you can drink, and it gives you certain, speed abilities. The skateboard and the shakes, are key as far as saving time. If you guys may or may not know, Dead Rising is based off a timer system. So the timer system is basically you have X amount of hours to essentially play the game, the main story, and to do certain cases, missions that are considered cases or chapters, however you want to categorize the sections of the game. So yes, you can go and just kill zombies and have fun, but it will eventually fail and you can't really complete any cases. You're just there until all the hours are up. So there's a right way to play it, and then there's kind of a more free flow way to play it, but you won't really have all the abilities as you progress because you'll be pretty much locked into whatever areas you currently unlocked. So it's going to be a little different for some people that haven't played Dead Rising, and I feel like many of you may have not played it. So yeah, just to know that, this move right here, this is probably something you have to unlock as you progress. But there are some crazy moves, and they definitely showed us that they all come back. All the weapons come back, and you can keep massacring zombies in the RE engine, which is incredible. And look at that. Frank just picking a zombie up over his head. That's the thing. Frank, he looks like a wimp, right? He's got the camera, but Frank West is no joke. I'm serious. He actually fucks people up in this game. Not only zombies, but actual people. I mean, for a photographer, this motherfucker doesn't mess around. And as you can see, he can lift full people up over his head like a wrestler and throw them down. And that has me really excited. I'm also very excited to see Jill's Sandwiches come back, which is the sandwich shop that is a nice little tribute to our dear Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. They didn't show that in the trailer, but I know it's there. This right here is a classic example of picking up the AI. Now, one thing that they should do with picking up hostages and rescuing people, because you can rescue everybody in the game, that is an actual achievement in the original. This is crucial because the AI would always get stuck in the original Dead Rising, to the point where it was still kind of an issue in the remaster in 2016. Hopefully this engine fixes that. I really want, the calls to the AI, because you can call them to be like, come on, let's go over here. and you can try to mark the area that you want them to run, but they would always get caught on stuff. I really hope that this is something they do tweak a little bit, because again, you're in a new engine, it's modern technology. We shouldn't have AI that just, is completely screwed up. And in the first game, one of the most frustrating things is how fast the AI can get caught in a sea of zombies, in a sea of boss fights. So a lot of times you can carry the survivors. So what you're seeing here is Frank carrying a survivor out of a zombie infested store, so you can bring her back through the ventilation shaft and you can have a survivor. And again, that gets you XP, that lets you level up. So the more you ignore survivors, it's actually a detrimental to your skills and your life and everything that you can increase meter-wise on Frank, as well as the skills. So that just reminded me, looking at the screenshot, like hopefully the AI is greatly improved. Hope so. So here we go. This is the front of the mall. Looks essentially the same as far as the actual design. This does look a lot better as far as the, improved graphics and everything like that. The little attention to detail that you didn't get in their old engine. This mall was definitely inspired by the Monroeville Mall, which is in PA. If you guys don't know, Dawn of the Dead was actually filmed at that mall. And guess what was the concept of Dawn of the Dead? Everyone being trapped in a mall during a zombie apocalypse. They might have taken a few notes. Yes, they did. Next up, we have the dreaded parking garage, which is known for farming the zombies down here with a car. If you want to add to your zombie kill count as far as in a fast way, this is the best way to do it, is to go to the parking garage and take a car and just run over as many zombies as you can before the car breaks down. So we do have some boss fights down in the parking garage, but it gets infested with zombies. But just from the screenshot here, I mean, again, how many zombies they can have on screen at once nowadays without any slowdown, without any problems to the game running, is incredible. So even with the remaster, they handled it pretty well with frame rates and stuff like that. But now they can have even more on screen, I'm sure, with the RE engine. So I'm very excited to see this. There's multiple areas to this parking garage, so a lot of times this does get infested with zombies. So really cool to see, and I'm sure they will try to, I know a lot of these zombies here will repeat designs, but if you look, I mean, they are keeping up a good variety of zombies. Even the old designs are coming back from what I'm seeing here, and even more. Another great example of this stuff here. So all the survivors here, we got Bert, Jeff, Kendall, Cheryl, Natalie. So these might look like very similar survivors if you played the first one, and that's because they are. They're literally the same exact survivors. And as you can see, you can hold their hand as well. But this in the original, when you would hold their hand, just the slightest thing would make you let go, which is just, again, very silly. I hope they fix that. You can give the survivors weapons, and I would hope that, again, with the improved AI, that works out. So, and it says here, be careful when using a stove to heat up frying pan. Don't let it get red hot. So, essentially, you can use frying pans and stuff like that in this game, which the arsenal of weapons is endless. So, a good problem to have. But yes, hopefully, fingers crossed that the AI is improved, especially when you have to give them weapons and maybe they actually fight back. But yeah, looks pretty damn good so far. And yeah, just from these zombies here, again, no repeat models, just from this little... Oh, actually, well, there's two right there. There's one by Jeff, and then there's one right behind Bert over there. So I'm wrong on that, but maybe there'll be less of repetitious zombie designs that, we'll see in one little area, but we'll see. Next up, we have a good little... meter that they show here that is important, because the power points, the points that you get from not only killing a certain amount of zombies, but also rescuing survivors throughout the mall, and also just doing the main case files. As you can see, that's the health bar, or the blocks, that is your health, and that can get extended all the way to the end as you and have a second row of health. And yeah, this looks like he's ready to batter up some zombies. And yeah, the bat is always a good weapon of choice. You obviously have chainsaws, but the bat, the golf club, just you get so much stuff as you continue through the game. So this is a good representation of the dynamic weapons that you can use, and of course showing off the health a little bit. Same thing here. Notice the 29 level. So the last one, it's level 4, and this one, it's level 29. And you can see he has the chainsaw, as I just mentioned, the chainsaw, and it actually has a meter for the durability, which is really cool. So you can keep track of, the weapons that they don't last forever, but you can kind of, cheese it as well, where some areas that have weapons, if you leave and come back, they will actually just respawn. Now, I don't think that will change unless there's any like drastic changes to the original, which will be interesting to see, like some features if they remove or take out. But as of now, it looks like it's pretty one-for-one remaster, just with a new RE paint on it, RE engine, that is. So, yeah. And this is always fun, taking the umbrella and running through a crowd and watching those zombies fly all over the place. Again, showing the health bar and the level 29 Frank. So the sooner you upgrade the Frank, the more beneficial it is. And this is out in the courtyard where you can run in between certain sections of the mall. And again, always littered with zombies. I love how this zombie on the bottom here just has a bandage wrapped around his head. That's just hilarious. They still got the glowing red eyes. If you may or may not know, by the time the first night, I believe, or the second night, I might be wrong, as soon as the clock strikes midnight, we actually get glowing red zombies, and they're a little more faster and aggressive. So you would say kind of like a Crimson Head zombie from Resident Evil Remake. But yeah, that's definitely where they could have gotten that from. But yes, the zombies get a little bit more aggressive when they have the red eyes. So that is also part of it. And this is it right here. They're showing the amount of zombies you kill total. It's always in the bottom right corner of the screen. And the skateboard. This thing is super essential. No, not for running into zombies, not for hitting zombies, but for actually getting from point A to point B with the least amount of time wasted. Having a skateboard is actually really essential. So when you're playing Dead Rising, find the skate shop, find yourself a skateboard, and you will be flying to the next mission in no time. Now, of course, some of the missions are time-based, so you do have to be there at an exact time or the mission won't start either. So if you're doing another objective to wait for a case to open up, you can ride your skateboard over, and there's also ways that you can make it faster as you, upgrade Frank. So this is showing off the skateboard. Really, you can't beat it. It's just classic Dead Rising. This is a great example. I'm happy they showed this because to get a decent amount of PowerPoints here, this is essential. Taking pictures in certain settings because you are a photographer after all. And, Frank's covered wars, so he's seen some serious shit. But the more horror, the more action you get in a shot from the camera, this is what it looks like when you zoom into your camera. It's got autofocus, it's got the shutter release button, and you could snap your photos, get your points, and that definitely helps Frank out a lot. And another thing that's really essential is the fact that you are on a time limit. This is a case. You are trying to cover said case, and that's something they took away in Dead Rising 4, which a lot of fans, and even myself from the outside looking in, because I never played Dead Rising 4, I missed. I like having a time limit. I like being on a timer. It's a sense of suspense and urgency and the fact that you can't mess around. And Dead Rising 4 was like, oh, let's just take out the timer. Everyone just wants to kill zombies at their leisure. And yeah, some people might feel that way, but I think the magic was always in this first game with how they had the dynamic of the different cases and the times and all that stuff was cool. So yeah, taking pictures, you got to do it. All right, so with the digital deluxe of the game, this is pretty cool for some Resident Evil fans out here. There's 17 costumes for Frank and 17 background music tracks that could be played in the shopping mall. And this is actually really interesting that they actually brought the Resident Evil 1 remake save room theme. Yes, the best remake of all time, in my opinion, Resident Evil 1. They have the save room theme from that. They also have Chris Redfield, which is from the Resident Evil HD remaster version, which is appropriate. So we have Chris as a skin. We have a Leon S. Kennedy costume for Resident Evil 2, and we also have the Ashley Graham outfit. So this is the save room mellow nightscape mix. So that's very interesting. And we have the liquor costume from Resident Evil 2, which is hilarious. And and that has the Looming Dread theme from Resident Evil 2. And Nemesis, of course, Resident Evil 3. I wonder if this is going to be the old or new Nemesis. Probably the new one. But we got the Metamorphosis theme, and we have the Chainsaw Villager. So, yeah, pretty interesting costume choices. I mean, the Resident Evil ones are an obvious one, so I'm happy they did kind of get that out of their system because, come on, it's Resident Evil. It's in the RE engine. They got all the assets. They got to use it. But that comes with the Drive remake version. So there you go. You can also pick that. And you got a Mega Man costume, which is amazing. So this is from Mega Man Battle Network, and it has Running Through the Cyber World as the track that plays through the mall. And then we have Lan Hikari, Mega Man Battle Network, Hometown track plays. We have Tron Bonnie from Mega Man Legends, and I think after that, these are just... Oh, no, we do have some Street Fighter characters, because after that, it looks like he gets a Sheriff costume with Beyond Heaven track, and then War Photographer, which is kind of funny, because, again, he's covered wars. Mall Music 3 Arranged, Reflection in the Window is used for that. Splatter Parties. This is the clown costume. And then he gets a creepy rabbit costume with 2 eerie towers. And then we get Ken from Street Fighter Alpha, which is amazing, with the Ken stage theme. We got Bladia from Cyberbots, Sodom from Street Fighter Alpha 3, and Riku from the Darkstalkers series. I love the amount of costumes they have here. They're really trying to sell the incentive to get the digital deluxe, which again is really cool that we get something a little bit different this time because there was nowhere near as many outfits unlockable anyway in the original. Now there was a lot of costumes you can find and that you can unlock as you progress, but as far as like costumes that you can just turn on with a flick of a button, like how Resident Evil has done it recently, where you can get the costumes and just change it in the menu. They didn't have that in the original, so that's really cool that they did that here. So this right here is a good before and after on some screenshots here. So this is the, zombie that's in the beginning of the game originally, and this is what he looks like now. Very much like a RE engine zombie that we've seen in Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake. So very cool. You can see just all the detail in the face that's decaying, which is just great. And this is the original. And this is the remaster. Original, remaster. So again, no Steve Harvey, Steve Harvey, and then Frank. So there you go. Original clown, remastered clown. OG clown, remaster clown. So again, you could see the difference of like, this is definitely done in a way where it's a remaster that isn't messing with too much, at least as far as I can tell. Obviously, yes, Frank is the biggest elephant in the room that's been changed, but we have skins and costumes for him, so they're pretty much saying, hey, yeah, if you don't like the new design, you can change it. So last but not least, I cannot forget this part of the press release, which actually breaks down the improved mechanics. So this actually gives you a better understanding of what they are improving, and some of it's what I just mentioned about the AI and improved mechanics. So let's get into it. It says there's a bunch of new features and gameplay improvements in Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster that will both have veterans and newcomers falling in love with the game again, including improved graphics, experiments the Willamette Parkview Mall being overrun by hordes of zombies like never before in up to 4K resolution with 60 frames per second. This is really good. That's what we expected. 4K, 60 in the RE engine. Please give it to us. Updated character models. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster introduces new high-end character modeling for Frank West, the unhinged psychopaths, NPCs like Brad, Jesse, Isabel, and the beloved Madonna, survivors of the outbreak, and the seemingly endless waves of zombies. And then it also states here that for the first time ever, it's going to be fully packed with voiceovers for all characters in 9 different languages. So they list all of them there, which is pretty cool. It says quality of undead life improvements. So this is crucial for this remaster, and I'm happy to read this. Numerous adjustments and highly requested features have been added as far as Frank West now has the ability to move while aiming. This is amazing, ladies and gentlemen, because this actually implements the Resident Evil remake mechanics of being able to move and shoot. Obviously, in the original, you could not do that, and it made some of the fights very frustrating at times. This is a great improvement. Aspiring photojournalists can customize action shots with filters to get the best glam shot of their favorite zombies, so that's really cool that they're improving the photo mode as well. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster now has an autosave functionality. Need a bathroom break? Don't worry. So autosave is now in Dead Rising. Yes, it was not in the original at all. And it says manual saves are still available when you need a breather. So you can do manual saves or autosave, so that's pretty cool. Then it says all NPCs and survivor interactions are now fully voiced, which is pretty cool. So they're actually going to have more than just a few lines, then like, you know, what is going on here? And like the generic, like, yelling that you would always hear from every survivor. It was almost like every survivor sounded similar at a certain point because you would just run into the same voiceovers over and over again. So it looks like they are improving that as well. Up next is new and improved NPC behavior. And this is essential. Just like I said earlier, I'm happy they're doing this, and I'm happy I'm reading this because it confirms in my head that we are going to get survivors that can actually follow Frank and also fight back, hopefully, and not get stuck behind a bunch of zombies. So that's a really good thing to add. Real-time lighting and shadow effects, that's expected, especially in the RE engine and everything being in 4K. Then it says more intuitive and user-friendly controls. So that is definitely a thing that they will have as far as new controls and old controls. I'm sure they'll have the choice between modern and old, so I'm curious to see how it does handle with the new control scheme. Last but not least is new fine-tuned user interface. So they even updated the interface for this Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. But that's it with the Dead Rising reaction to all the press release stuff, all the trailers. I'm very excited to see Dead Rising come back. I cannot wait to play this day one and stream it for you guys. And maybe I'll be able to stream the original again before it comes out, just for some hype, because I love Dead Rising, especially 1 and 2. They always hold a special place in my heart, just as much as Resident Evil. While I don't have a connection to 3, because I never really played it when it came out in 2013, I do own it, I just haven't played it yet. And then 4, I just heard, wasn't as good, and that ended up killing Dead Rising for a little bit. So I'm happy to see this back. Dead Rising was actually mentioned a lot on the survey poll that Capcom put up that I did a video on, talking about the survey results, and Dead Rising was on there. It didn't have, like, the highest votes, but it was definitely on there for series to return. And it's interesting they had this probably just in the pipeline anyway, or maybe they were like, you know what, we should really, you know, bring Dead Rising back, bring people back to the first game, and who knows, this might lead to another Dead Rising sequel in the future. So let me know what you think of Dead Rising. Is this your first time checking out Dead Rising because of this remaster? Let me know down below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more LTRE content. Take care.